Hello and welcome to the channel, welcome to another episode of TEW 2020 WWE, and we are here finally with the go-home shows heading into WrestleMania, the final Raw, the final NXT and final Smackdown before the showcase of the Immortals, the Grandest Stage and more WrestleMania 38. WrestleMania 38, two-night event, stacked card already, and this week ready to be completely finalized. As always, matches will probably be announced throughout, but at the end of the video we will go over every single match. That will take a minute, I assure you. And then we also have the official match card video coming and the special preview video coming next week as well. But for now, we're focusing on tonight. We're focusing on these go-home shows, starting, of course, as usual, with another episode of Monday Night Raw, which gets underway with the Hardcore Champion, Tommaso Ciampa, storming out to the ring, holding a steel chair, holding a microphone, holding his hardcore soul, plants the steel chair in the ring and sits down in it, and he just says, Alistair, you turned me down. But how about now, huh? Huh? Or are you just going to sit back there? After I smashed you in the back with the hardcore towel, you're just going to sit back there and act like you don't want to hurt me. Act like you don't want to fight me, huh? Alistair, I thought better of you than that. But if you want to stay back there, if you want to be a coward, then fine. But, and then Alistair Black's music hitting. Tommaso Ciampa standing up, folding up the chair, throwing it out the ring, and then waiting for Alistair Black, saying, come on, Alistair, I'm waiting for you. For a 73, when from behind you hear the commotion, Tommaso Ciampa turning around straight into a black mass from Alistair Black. The Hardcore Champion Ciampa laid out, but Alistair Black leans down, picks up the microphone Ciampa dropped, and says, Tommaso Ciampa, I accept your WrestleMania challenge. And at WrestleMania 38, you and your Hardcore Championship reign will both fade to black. For a 93, yeah, good opening segments. Another massive match set for WrestleMania. Ciampa versus Black for the Hardcore title, which will hopefully be very good. Two very good competitors that we all know can go and have a great match, so fingers crossed. Before, with the first match of this evening, a tag team match between four of the competitors in the Intercontinental Championship ladder match at WrestleMania. On one side, you have the team of Jeff Hardy and Montez Ford, and on the other, you have the team of Frederick Fairchild and The Miz. Fairchild and The Miz, you know, sometimes not seeing eye to eye, but they proved they can work together, I guess. And in the end, The Miz using some underhanded tactics, Fairchild providing a distraction, taking out Ford, Jeff Hardy distracted, skull-crushing finale. Miz picks up the victory for his team for an 8-2. Good match. Happy with this. Good opener. 79 Jeff, 77 Ford, 73 Miz, 67 Fairchild. Good start. As Fairchild and The Miz get the win and once again prove they can work together. They maybe the issue is just they're too similar for their own good, because they do not like each other. Then we go backstage to a segment with the Raw General Manager Drake Maverick and Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne, of course, representing Raw Battle of the Brands, and Drake Maverick just talking with him about it, you know, trying to emphasize the severity of it, saying that if you're pinned, Pete, then WrestleMania, my last night, I'll be fired, and I don't want to be fired. So Pete, like I said, if you win this, you win Battle of the Brands for Raw for me, I will give you any championship match you want. And I promise you that. I'm a man of my word, Pete. You know that. So just go to WrestleMania and do what I know you do best and win. And Pete's saying, Drake, I don't care about you or your job, but I'm going to win for me. We're at 85, Pete. You know, just wants to fight, and he'll get his chance at Mania on the Grandest Stage of them all in that Battle of the Brands match. As then, next up, we have a match between one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions, Drew McIntyre taking on Matt Riddle. Last week, of course, Riddle beating Sheamus following the Owens and Zayn interference, but Warriors took out Owens and Zayn last week, so don't have to worry about that. But in the end, after a great matchup, Riddle, you know, setting up for the Bro Derek, when out of nowhere, Sheamus into the ring, hits him with a bro kick, laying him out. Riddle winning by DQ here for an 85. Good match. 87 Riddle, 82 Drew. Happy with this. So in the end, it is Riddle who wins by DQ. And McIntyre and Sheamus beating down on Riddle. Sheamus lifting up Riddle, holding him for Drew McIntyre to get ready to hit a Claymore when all of a sudden, dun, 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 dun. Goldberg's music hits and a Hall of Famer storming down to the ring. Sheamus going and meeting him at the ramp, and Goldberg taking out a massive clothesline ball, getting in the ring. Him and Drew just staring across each other, and Goldberg taking him down with a massive clothesline as well. Drew and Sheamus retreating up the ramp, where at the top they're met by a returning Owens and Zayn. You know, there's the moment where they're at the top of the ramp, they're staring down at the ring, and the crowd kind of building, and they don't know why. And they realise, and they turn around, and Owens, Zayn, and there, massive brawl breaking out, all brawling backstage, the four men, for a 91, whilst Goldberg reaches his hand down to Riddle and helps him up, and then grabs the mic, and Goldberg says, Matt Riddle, at WrestleMania 38, you're next, and you're last. For an 85, Goldberg officially accepting Matt Riddle's challenge. One more match. Goldberg ready to retire, but coming for one more match. WrestleMania 38, the Grandest Stage Mall. Goldberg versus Matt Riddle. Another big match at WrestleMania, really finalising now. Before we have a massive tag team match next up. On one side, we have the Women's World Champion Sasha Banks and the Women's Tag Team Champions Naomi and Nia Jax. A little Team BAD, Team Bad reunion between Naomi and Sasha Banks here. Taking on their WrestleMania challengers. The team of Io Shirai, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. And in the end, following once again a little bit of miscommunication from Lynch and Flair, Sasha Banks manages to take down Charlotte Flair, the backstabber, roll her up and get the victory for a 90. Brilliant match. All six of these women, of course, incredible in the ring. And it's Banks and the Bloodline, the champs, who get the bragging rights heading into WrestleMania. 89 Becky, 87 Sasha, 81 Io, 79 Charlotte, 76 Naomi, 62 Nia. Good match, as afterwards Banks and the Bloodline going up the ramp, raising their towels in celebration, whilst Lynch and Flair in the ring arguing, you know. It's all been about, can they coexist at Mania? It looked like they could originally, but having a lot more disagreements of late. Whilst Io Shirai just in the ring, leaning on the rope, staring up the ramp, just staring at Sasha Banks, like the cogs are turning in her mind. She's thinking. Io Shirai hasn't been bothered with all this talk or anything in the build up to this WrestleMania match. Io Shirai's focusing on one thing, and she says it's nice and simple. She will beat Banks at Mania. Can she live up to those words? We'll have to wait and see. But 100 for the post match, really, really great. As then, just like we did on SmackDown last week, we have a couple sit-down interviews. Michael Cole sitting down with Angel Garza and Edge, both respectively. Angel Garza and Edge, of course, fighting WrestleMania 38, Hell in a Cell. Cole sitting down with Garza first, you know, welcoming Garza back. Garza saying thank you and talking about it. Garza saying that after SummerSlam, after Edge's cost him the title, assaulted him, could have ended his career like that. Garza maybe he got heated, you know, maybe he let it get into his head too much, and you know what, looking back, maybe he shouldn't have come back for that unsanctioned match. Maybe that was a mistake, but this isn't. He says he took the time away to heal and to train and to prepare, and he came back at the Rumble, focused on one thing. And maybe that's why he lost the Rumble, because he didn't go into the Rumble wanting to win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania. No, he went into the Royal Rumble wanting to hurt Edge. Wanting to take away Edge's opportunity to win the Rumble, to get another world title match at Mania, because he knows that's what Edge wants more than anything. And Garza saying Edge doesn't deserve that. Saying that this is it. WrestleMania, Hell in a Cell, a match he's never been in. A match he knows can be brutal, can be bloody. A match he's ready for. Because Angel Garza says at WrestleMania, he is gonna give it everything he's got. At WrestleMania, he puts it all on the line, because at WrestleMania, the only result is Angel Garza walking out victorious over Edge. And then Cole having his interview with Edge, and Edge saying that for Angel Garza, this is the biggest moment of his life. For Angel Garza, this is the biggest moment of his career, of his life. WrestleMania. With Edge, the Hall of Famer, one of the greatest all-time, the Rated R superstar, the multi-time world champion. Whilst for Edge, this is just another Saturday or Sunday night. I've been doing this all my career. I've been in the main events. I've been in the grandest stage. I've been in Hell in a Cell. I've been in Hell in a Cell with The Undertaker, the father of Hell in a Cell. Angel Garza can think he does, but he doesn't know what he's getting into. I do. And I can't wait to get in that cell. And finally, take out Angel Garza. He did it to himself at SummerSlam. I told him I didn't know what he'd do if I lost that WWE title. He did it to himself. And then he came back for the unsanctioned match, and he did it to himself again. And now, for a third time, he's done it to himself again. What did they say, Michael? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, though? What the hell was he thinking? Stepping to Edge again, Hell in a Cell, WrestleMania, I end Angel Garza. Once and for all, I finished the job I started at SummerSlam. I finished the job I should have ended in the unsanctioned match. I finished the job. And I finish Garza. For a 100, brilliant segment. Great little sit-down interview with Michael Cole here. Garza and Edge both ready for that WrestleMania Hell in a Cell match. Before, next, we have the main event in what will hopefully be a really good match. On one side, we have the Intercontinental Champion Johnny Gargano. On the other, we have Daniel Bryan. An absolute dream match. Gargano and Bryan. Both, of course, in the Intercontinental title ladder match at WrestleMania. But having this moment here, a match that was going to happen at Elimination Chamber before Gargano got injured. But Gargano back and ready for this. In the main event, Johnny Gargano versus Daniel Bryan. In the end, Johnny Gargano picks up the victory for a 97. A brilliant match, as you'd expect, between these two men. Both incredible in the ring. It goes about 28 minutes. And it's just action throughout from Gargano and Bryan. 92 Gargano, 87 Bryan. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I am very, very happy. After the match, Gargano, getting his arm raised and then helping Daniel Bryan to his feet. And the two men shaking hands before they're viciously attacked from behind by The Miz and Frederick Fairchild, laying them out. Miz and Fairchild celebrating, then both going to pick up the Intercontinental title to pose with it. And then kind of having a little tug of war. And then them getting into it before Jeff Hardy and Montez Ford storm out and take out Fairchild and The Miz. Gargano and Bryan getting up. A massive brawl between all 6 guys, breaking out for an 87. When out of nowhere storms in Bobby Lashley, the CEO of the Hurt Business, storms into the ring and lays everyone out. He puts Montez Ford in the Hurt Lock, and then whilst holding the Hurt Lock in and then just swings him around like a ragdoll, taking out Fairchild, taking out Miz, taking out Hardy, tosses him into tosses him into Bryan and Gargano, taking out Gargano and Bryan with a massive spear, and then Lashley. And then MVP handing Lashley the Intercontinental title, and Lashley raising it above a ring filled with fallen opponents for a 96. Brilliant main event and great post-match segments, as well as, yes, the ladder match, a 7-way. 7 men, 7 incredible men: Gargano, Bryan, Miz, Fairchild, Hardy, Ford, Lashley. 7 men all wanting to become Intercontinental Champion on the grandest stage. Who will climb the ladder and pull down the title? We'll have to wait and see, but hopefully it'll be a really good match. Intercontinental ladder matches do tend to bang, don't they? So fingers crossed. As then we have the final segment of the night. We have a little in-ring face-to-face between the WWE Champion Adam Cole and his WrestleMania challenger Kyle O'Reilly. To try and make sure he doesn't break into anything in the ring, overseeing things. Is a man they both have a lot of respect for, Triple H. And they, it's a lot of they've been going for 6 weeks. It's a lot of what they've already been saying to each other. Cole saying he's better than O'Reilly, saying that at WrestleMania he proves it, saying that he's Adam Cole, the best in the world, the WWE champion. At WrestleMania he does what he always does and he wins. He retains the WWE title. And Kyle O'Reilly saying that this is his moment, this is his time. Adam never appreciated him. Adam never gave him the respect he deserves. So at WrestleMania he's going to take that respect and he's going to take the WWE championship when he beats Adam Cole on the grandest stage of them all. And then the two men just staring down the WrestleMania sign in the background. Cole raising the WWE title, Triple H intervening before it can come to blows for a 100. Great end segment. Hopefully a really good WrestleMania main event between these two men in a 2 episodes time, 2 main episodes time, because it's on night 2, of course. Overall, this go home episode of Monday Night Raw gets a 98. Incredible, brilliant. Raw saving the best for last on the road to WrestleMania, increased up on 50 on regions, over the moon. What a show, what a start to this. Only 2 segments getting dark green, everything else light blue. Incredible. What a start to this week of go home shows. Hopefully we can continue with these incredibly high ratings next up with another episode of NXT. And NXT gets underway here with William Regal making a very sad announcement, announcing that sadly Timothy Thatcher has broken his cranium somehow in training or at home. And so, with regret, he must announce that Timothy Thatcher will be missing not only WrestleMania 38, but he will in fact be missing WrestleMania 39 as well. He is out for over a year. And Regal says him and Thatcher haven't got on the best, but he wouldn't wish this on anyone, especially this close to Mania, this close to having a match at Mania. And he just wishes Timothy Thatcher the best of luck in his recovery. And then moves on to Ridge Holland, who was scheduled to fight Timothy Thatcher. He announces that Ridge Holland will be making his debut instead in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale, and he'll be looking to win that in his WrestleMania debut. So Ridge Holland will still be competing and making his debut at WrestleMania, but it will be in the Andre rather than against Timothy Thatcher for a 58. Disappointing that Timothy Thatcher got injured, especially this close to Mania, but I guess if anyone from any of the matches at WrestleMania was going to get injured, this one's probably the one you'd want it in, sadly, but still, especially for how long it is. I think it's 13 months. I'm pretty sure he comes back the day after WrestleMania 39. So if you remember that fact, he'll be back around then. But if you don't, you'll be nice and surprised in a year plus time. For 58, you know, opening segment wise, not what I wanted to do, but here we are. Before we enter the first match of this evening between the Demon Finn Balor and Karrion Kross, 2 of the superstars who will be in the Monsters Ball Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania, also featuring The Fiend and Damian Priest, who will be in action later tonight. But it's Balor and Kross kicking things off, and in the end, the Demon gets the win with a 19-16, laying out Karrion Kross for the victory for 78. 82 Demon, 79 Kross, happy with this, as the Demon is the one who comes out on top heading into WrestleMania here. As then we go backstage to Carmelo Hayes and Ethan Page, both getting ready. In a match next up, Carmelo Hayes representing NXT in the Battle of the Brands at WrestleMania. Ethan Page looking to get another win over #Trending's rivals, DFG's leader of sorts in Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes looking to build some momentum heading into that match at Mania for 48. Their groups both banned from ringside, just pure wrestling action between these two. And in the end, it's Carmelo Hayes who comes out on top with that top rope leg drop for a 43. Yeah, not the best match. 59 Hayes, 39 Page. Page bringing this down a bit, but still doing all right as Carmelo Hayes does pick up the win over Ethan Page here and gets that momentum heading into WrestleMania's Battle of the Brands match. As then we have a little bit of a promo between Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, both ready for their match at WrestleMania. Raquel defending her title against Dakota Kai. Raquel ready to shut Dakota Kai up once for all. She says she clearly didn't do a good enough job taking her out at SummerSlam, so she's going to take care of her for good come WrestleMania. And Dakota Kai says that for what Raquel Gonzalez did to her, if you wanted to split, then okay, but attacking her, putting her on a shelf like that is not okay. And so at WrestleMania, she's going to take out Raquel Gonzalez, but also she's finally going to achieve what she should have done years ago, and she's going to become the NXT Women's Champion for 79. Good little promo segment. Both superstars in a tag match later tonight. Dakota Kai teaming with former best friend Tegan Knox to take on Raquel Gonzalez and Mickie James. As then we have a little promo from the Velveteen Dream, accompanied by Dexter Lumis, and the promo of the Dream is interrupted by a returning Isaiah Swerve Scott saying he wants his title back, and Dexter Lumis intervening as he tries to step forward for 88. Good promo here. As next up we have Dexter Lumis versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. Dream looking on happily enjoying Dexter Lumis hurt Isaiah Swerve Scott, the man who will be fighting at WrestleMania. But in the end, Isaiah Swerve Scott somehow manages to roll up Dexter Lumis and pick up the win for a 74. Good match, 63 Lumis, 67 Scott, happy with this. Dream after match, getting in the ring, going for the super kick on Scott, but Scott ducking underneath and taking down Dream with a swift kick before rolling out the ring, NXT North American title in hand. Swerve has the NXT North American title back in his grasp, and he taunts the Dream as the Dream looks on, heading into their match at Mania at 95. Brilliant segment here. This match hopefully will do well at Mania between Swerve and Dream for that NXT North American gold. As then, next up we have a match from the Cruiserweight division. We have Trey Griffin taking on Humberto Carrillo. Trey Griffin, he beat Santos Escobar this week. Can he beat Humberto Carrillo tonight? A lot of commotion at ringside. Legado trying to get involved. Mysterio's charging out to stop them. And the distraction allows Griffin to take down Carrillo in the end with a Meteora for the victory for 76. Another good match. 57 Griffin, 66 Carrillo. Happy with this. As Trey Griffin continues building momentum into those matches at Mania. Trey Griffin, of course, taking on Andrade and Legado taking on the Mysterios, respectively, for their Cruiserweight gold. As then we have a big weigh-in segment, Regal overseeing it for the match under boxing rules at Mania between Anthony Ogogo, the Olympic medalist, and Logan Paul, the internet sensation. Both men ready. Logan Paul ready for his moment. He says he always goes trending worldwide, and with hashtag trending, he's ready to go hashtag trending at WrestleMania for knocking out the medalist Anthony Ogogo. Logan Paul saying that Anthony Ogogo trained his whole life to be a boxer, and he failed at it and had to go into wrestling. He trained for months to be a boxer, and he went toe-to-toe with Floyd Mayweather, and he didn't lose. And Anthony Ogogo, Logan Paul says he's treated like the amateur here, when really he's accomplished more in the world of boxing than Anthony Ogogo ever has and ever will. And Ogogo saying he can't wait to knock the taste out of Logan Paul's mouth. Both of them weighing in, both of them ready for this match at Mania. 70 for this. Good segment. And hopefully it will be a decent match. I mean, it's just a celebrity attraction match, to be honest with you. So I'm not expecting the world, but hopefully Ogogo and Paul will put on a decent performance come WrestleMania 38. As then, next up, we have a tag team match. As announced earlier, Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox, the former best friends, then turned bitter rivals, now turned fine with each other, taking on the team of the NXT Women's Champion, Raquel Gonzalez, and Mickie James. And in the end, it's Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox who get the win, working together, working that old best friend magic somehow, and Dakota Kai pinning Mickie James following the GTK, the go to kick for a 65. Good match, happy with this. 71 Knox, 61 Kai, 69 Raquel, 47 James. Good match, and Dakota Kai is the one who gets the pin and comes out on top heading into Mania, but it does not feel like it after the match as Raquel Gonzalez just storms into her, takes her down with that one-arm powerbomb, and then stands over her, raising that NXT Women's Championship of hers for 76. Raquel sending a clear message here. She plans on coming out on top, on standing tall over Dakota Kai come WrestleMania 38, where they meet for that NXT Women's Championship, which hopefully be a really good match as Dakota Kai looks to get revenge and looks to finally win that women's title. Can she do it? We'll have to wait to find out, but for now we have the main event of this evening between Damian Priest and The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. The other two competitors, as I said earlier, in that Monsters Ball Fatal 4-Way with the Demon, Balor, and Kross. And Priest and Fiend just go balls to the wall, brawling it out here. But in the end, it's The Fiend with the Mandible Claw bringing Priest down for an 80. Good match, 93 Fiend, 75 Priest. Happy with this, as Damian Priest is defeated by The Fiend. The Fiend standing tall when the lights go out. And when they come back on, the Demon is there. The Fiend and the Demon both winning tonight, and the Fiend and Demon staring down with each other. These two will be colliding at Mania with Kross and Priest there as well. A Monsters Ball match, the first in WWE history, sure to be huge. I cannot wait to see how it does, because God knows how it's going to do, but we will have to wait and see. A 100 for that brilliant segment, as you'd expect from these guys, to be honest with you. I really do say brilliant segment a lot. They're just all really, really good, so I mean, that's what you want, isn't it? As there we have the final segment of tonight. Out comes the NXT Championship #1 contender, Randy Orton, and he gets on the mic and he says he didn't want to RKO Chad last week, but Chad wanted this. Chad says he wanted the old Randy Orton. Implied that Randy Orton wasn't that Randy Orton, wasn't the 14-time world champion, the legend killer, the Viper, the Apex Predator, the greatest of all time. Well, he is that, and he always will be that. And at WrestleMania, he has another championship to his long list of accolades, because at WrestleMania, that Randy Orton is going to do what Randy Orton does, and that is win the big one on the grandest stage of them all. And Chad Gable coming out, saying that he's been waiting for this, or another pathetic excuse that's been around. He wanted this Randy Orton. Because when he beats this Randy Orton, it'll taste all the sweeter. It will mean something. Gable saying that him and Orton have met many times. They met when Randy Orton was WWE champion twice and Orton won twice. They met on NXT a few months back, heading into Extreme Rules, and Orton won. Gable says he's never beat Randy Orton, but at WrestleMania, that's going to change. He says at WrestleMania, he finally does it. He finally beats Randy Orton. He proves he belongs here. He proves he belongs as the NXT champion. He proves he deserves this NXT champion, because if he can't beat Randy Orton, if he can't go toe-to-toe in that ring with the greatest of all time, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, Randy Orton, then he does not deserve to be NXT champion. He doesn't deserve to represent NXT, but he knows he does, because he knows on the grandest stage of them all that he will beat Randy Orton. For 100, the two men stare down. Gable, championship over his shoulder, Orton looking down at Gable, looking at it as well. These two, good friends whilst on NXT. Orton mentoring Chad Gable, but at WrestleMania, no love lost. They will collide, and you have to think they'll both give it everything they've got to walk out of there with that NXT championship in their hands. Like I said, a 100 for that. A brilliant segment to end things here on this go home episode of NXT, which overall gets a rating of 88. Really good. I mean, yeah, when you have like Carmelo Hayes and Ethan Page and that in segments, they're gonna be brought down a bit because they don't have the highest pop, but I'm still really pleased. Really brought out in the end with that Fiend Priest main event, and then Gable and all and stuff as well. I am very happy. NXT, a solid card on WrestleMania just from the NXT side. I'm looking forward to see how all of this plays out, especially that NXT main event of sorts between Chad Gable and Randy Orton for the NXT Championship. Can Chad Gable finally overcome Randy Orton and get the win, or will Orton beat Gable again and win the NXT Championship for the first time in his career? We'll have to wait and see, but for now, that's it from NXT, and it's time for the final go-home show heading into WrestleMania 38. It is time for hopefully another great show. It is time for Smackdown. And Smackdown gets underway with the Universal Heavyweight Champion Thaddeus Bullard coming out accompanied by Paul Heyman, the Bullard brand, nowhere in sight. And Bullard gets in the ring and he asks Keith Lee to come down. And Keith Lee does. And Bullard says there's been a lot of animosity between the two men. You know, Bullard's done some things he probably shouldn't have. Lee's done some things he probably shouldn't have. You know. But with their match days away at this point, Bullard wants to take this opportunity to squash whatever issues there are, to shake hands with Keith Lee, and to get ready for their match at Mania as, not as enemies, but as colleagues with a lot of respect for each other before that match. And Thaddeus Bullard extending his hand out, Keith Lee, you know, kind of a bit wary, you know, like, what game are you playing here, Thaddeus? But in the end, Keith Lee reaching his hand out and shaking Bullard's hand. And the two men do shake hands for a 100. A little sign of respect, and there has been some animosity between these two. But with WrestleMania right here, coming next episode, Thaddeus Bullard wanting to squash that beef, showing some respect for Keith Lee, shaking hands. You love to see it, as then they're promptly attacked, of course. Keith Lee attacked from behind by LA Knight, Socrates Torres, Apollo Crews, and Cameron Grimes, probably as you expected. Yeah, it was a little bit of a trap from Bullard, so Keith Lee was right to be wary, as Knight, Torres, Crews, and Grimes stomp out Keith Lee. Grimes and Torres and Crews lifting him up for Thaddeus Bullard, getting ready for the Bullard bomb for a 99. When, of course, as expected, John Cena's music does hit. Dun, dun, you can't see me. Yeah, John Cena charges out to the ring, making the save for Lee, taking out Crews, taking down Torres, taking out Grimes, Bullard, Heyman, Knight, all getting out the ring. LA Knight not wanting to deal with Cena now. He'll wait till WrestleMania for his match with Cena. He doesn't need this now. Cena helping Lee to his feet. Cena and Lee, you know, definitely some respect there. Cena being there for Lee when Lee is attacked, Lee being there for Cena. They've been partners, and this setting up a match later tonight where they'll have to be partners again. The Dream Team reunited, Lee and Cena taking on Cruz, Torres, and Grimes of the Bullard brand. A 2-on-3 handicap match. The other two members of the Bullard brand, of course, Bullard and Knight, not involved. Both preparing for their matches with Lee and Cena, respectively, at Mania for a 98. Really, really good opening here. Very happy. As then we go backstage to Xavier Woods being interviewed about how he feels about the match at WrestleMania, the New Day triple threat, Woods, Big E, and Kofi Kingston. And Woods says that he is going to win. There's a lot of talk. There's been a lot of talk for years about a New Day triple threat. And it's finally happening at WrestleMania 38. And in Dallas, Texas, I will win and retain my United States Championship. Big E and Kofi coming into it saying that they're looking forward to it. Looking forward to both getting their hands on Xavier Woods and getting to take that United States off him as well. And Woods kind of laughing to himself and saying that, you two saying about getting your hands on me, all well and good, sure, but it's a triple threat, you know. Both of you can't win. You're going to have to fight each other as well. And you know what? I wanted to get you prepared for that. So I actually spoke to Paige, and she thought it was a great idea late tonight. Big E versus Kofi Kingston one-on-one. And then Woods walking off laughing as Big E and Kofi kind of look at each other. But Woods is right. It's a triple threat. Both men can't win. One has to be the winner. And so these two are going to end up fighting at some point. And they're going to get that reversal for it tonight. Big E and Kofi Kingston 1-on-1 98 for that. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant segments to kick off the show. As then, next up, we have a massive tag team match. 5-on-5. Featuring 4 feuds all heading into WrestleMania. On one side, we have the Women's Universal Champion, Shayna Baszler, the $1 Million Champion, Deonna Purrazzo, the Women's Tag Team Champions, Naomi and Nia Jax, and Ruby Riott as well. Taking on the team of Shayna Baszler's WrestleMania opponent, Ronda Rousey, Deonna Purrazzo's WrestleMania opponent, Bianca Belair, Naomi and Nia Jax's WrestleMania opponents, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, as well as Ruby Riott's WrestleMania opponent, Liv Morgan. A massive tag team match between all these people who will be competing at WrestleMania. Faces versus heels, as you'd expect. And in the end, it's the heels who come out on top. Shayna Baszler forcing Liv Morgan to submit with the Kira Fuda clutch. The Women's Universal Champ getting this victory for her team heading into WrestleMania in her match against Ronda Rousey for a 79. Really good opening match here. A lot of ratings to look at there. 91 Ronda Rousey, 91 Becky Lynch, 81 Charlotte Flair, 76 Naomi, 69, nice, Shayna Baszler, 65 Deonna Purrazzo, 64 Bianca Belair, 62 Becky Lynch, 62 Nia Jax, 61 Ruby Riott, 62 Liv Morgan, not Becky Lynch, excuse me. 79 for the match, good match, as afterwards the heels do stand tall heading into Mania. The heels, the champs, Baszler, Purrazzo, Naomi, Nia Jax, as well as Ruby Riott, standing tall over their opponents. Can they all do the same come WrestleMania? We'll have to wait to find out, but it's a 100 for that post-match. All the segments being really, really brilliant tonight, thankfully. The road to WrestleMania, especially this last stretch, has been incredible. As then we have a little Battle of the Brand segment. Paige coming out to the ring, inviting the other general managers. Drake Maverick coming out first, accompanying Pete Dunne. And then Carmelo Hayes coming out accompanied by William Regal. And they're ready. And then Drake Maverick asking Paige about who her representative is. And Paige says that she'd been thinking about it. Who is best to represent her, to represent Friday Night SmackDown? She'd been and ahhing, going back and forth. But then she actually got a phone call from a superstar who really, really wanted to represent SmackDown. He sounded really passionate about it. He wanted to rep SmackDown. He wanted to represent me. And Mr. Regal, he seemed really interested specifically about you and Carmelo Hayes. So, without further ado, SmackDown's representative for the Battle of the Brands triple threat match will be the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. AJ Styles, music hits and he makes his way out to the ring. And he says that Regal didn't want him to represent NXT, so he made a phone call. And now he's going to WrestleMania. Only this time he's representing Friday Night SmackDown, the house that AJ Styles built. And Styles says, Pete, just stay out of my way. Just stay out of my way and you'll be fine. And Drake Maverick, you'll be fine. Because Hayes, I'm coming for you. Because Regal, I'm coming for you. If you don't have the sense in your mind to see that AJ Styles is the best superstar to represent your brand when your job is on the line, then you do not deserve to have your job, and so I will make sure you lose it. I am going to WrestleMania, I'm going to Battle of the Brands, and I'm pinning Carmelo Hayes. And Regal, your ass is getting fired. Hayes taking offense to this, squaring up to Styles. Styles shoving Hayes. Hayes going back into Dunn. Pete Dunne obviously not impressed, shoving Hayes. Hayes shoving Dunn. Styles getting involved. All three men brawling it out. Security separating them in the end for an 87. Really, really good segment. Happy with this. And hopefully will be a good triple threat match between these three superstars come WrestleMania. Dunn and Hayes, the younger competitors. Styles, the older, more experienced competitor. Good to throw him in this match, I think. And hopefully the match will be really, really good. As then we have this match, Big E versus Kingston, eventually ending in a draw, essentially, as Xavier Woods sneaks out and takes them both down with that United States title for an 82. A good match between Big E and Kofi Kingston in the end. 86 Big E, 76 Kingston, happy with this. As in the end, Xavier Woods stands tall over his former New Day brothers and his upcoming WrestleMania opponents for that 82. Really good match. Before, next up, we have a little segment featuring someone you might know, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The Rock in the ring, standing with Bronson Reed and Samoa Joe by his side. And he says he's here to issue one last challenge. WrestleMania 38, he's made the call for Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, seems too afraid to answer, so he will repeat it one last time. WrestleMania 38, the biggest WrestleMania of all time in Dallas, Texas, the most stupendous two-night spectacle in the history of sports entertainment. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson versus Roman Reigns. And if you win, Roman, then I will acknowledge you as my tribal chief. But when I kick your candy ass 7 ways to Sunday, you will acknowledge The Rock as your tribal chief. And while we're adding to it, I got my boys out here, Bronson Reed and Samoa Joe. And obviously my little cousins, Jimmy and Jay, need a lesson in respect as well. So here's what we're going to do, Roman. You're going to accept my challenge, and then they're going to accept this one. WrestleMania, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay versus Bronson Reed and Samoa Joe. And if Reed and Joe win, they are the Smackdown Tag Team Champions. But if Jay and Jimmy come out on top, then Reed and Joe have agreed to acknowledge you as well, Roman. Massive from The Rock. Roman Reigns coming out with Jimmy, Jay, and Jacob. And Roman Reigns not happy. And he says, you three have got in the tribal chief's business for the last time. And so you know what? Reed, Joe, Dwayne, we accept your challenges for a 100. So big matches officially set. The Usos versus Reed and Joe for those SmackDown tag titles. And of course, Roman Reigns versus The Rock in a SummerSlam rematch. Not SummerSlam, The Rock came out on top. Can he do it again at Mania and make Roman Reigns acknowledge him as the true tribal chief? We'll have to find out, but an incredible match confirmed there. Before we head into the main event, the handicap match on one side, John Cena and Keith Lee, the Dream Team, on the other, Bullard Brand's own Cameron Grimes, Apollo Crews, and Socrates Torres. And in the end, John Cena and Keith Lee stand victorious. Keith Lee pinning Grimes with that Spirit Bomb for an 82. Good match. 94 Cena, 92 Lee, 75 Crews, 73 Torres, 70 Grimes. Happy with this. Cena and Lee doing incredible and building that final momentum as in the end, the two men stand in the ring side by side, staring up the ramp at their WrestleMania opponents. Keith Lee looking at Bullard, John Cena looking at LA Knight for a 100. Great ending. Good match. Hopefully some good matches at Mania as this go-home episode of Friday Night SmackDown gets a 90. Brilliant show to cap things off for 4 brilliant weeks of action heading into WrestleMania here. I am very, very happy. And as always, let's just run through the card for you now. Of course, we have the official match card video coming up on Saturday. And then we have the special preview show next Tuesday for WrestleMania's Night 1 and Night 2. Not this weekend, but next weekend. But I'll run through the match card quickly for you now. On Night 1, we will have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. We will have the Intercontinental Championship ladder match between Johnny Gargano, Daniel Bryan, the fabulous Frederick Fairchild, Montez Ford, Jeff Hardy, The Miz, and Bobby Lashley. All 7 men want that Intercontinental, but who will climb the ladder to success at WrestleMania and claim it? We have the women's tag titles on the line when the Bloodline, Naomi and Nia Jax, defend their gold against Charlotte and Becky Lynch. Can the Bloodline come out on top? Can Charlotte and Becky Lynch coexist? We will wait and see. We have the Cruiserweight tag titles on the line when Legado, Humberto Carrillo and Santos Escobar take on the Mysterios, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic winners. Can the Mysterios do it? Can the father and son duo win those Cruiserweight tag titles and put an end to the reign of Legado? The $1 million title is up for grabs as Deonna Purrazzo defends her gold against Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair has won the matches necessary to mean that Chelsea Green, Frankie Monet, Aaliyah and Lana are all banned from ringside. If Deonna Purrazzo is going to retain that title, she's going to have to do it on her own, but she definitely has the quality to do so. We'll have to wait to see if she can, though. In his official last match ever, Goldberg versus Riddle. Can Goldberg get one more win on his way out, or will the original bro overcome Goldberg and pick up a massive WrestleMania victory in the process? We have Tommaso Ciampa versus Aleister Black for the Hardcore Championship. Anything goes when these two vicious rivals meet again on the grandest stage of them all. The Cruiserweight title up for grabs as Andrade defends his gold against Trey Griffin. Trey Griffin looking for revenge for his MSK brothers, Nashcar and Wesley, but also looking to finally end Andrade's reign. But will Andrade do what Andrade does best, then steal the show and keep that Cruiserweight title? We'll have to wait and find out. In a Hell in a Cell match, this vicious feud finally ends. Angel Garza versus Edge. Edge put Angel Garza on the shelf indefinitely at SummerSlam. Angel Garza returning at the Rumble and eliminating Edge, setting his sights on him. And now the match official, Hell in a Cell, Garza versus Edge. Who is coming out on top of this vicious blood feud? With the Battle of the Brands triple threat match, of course, where Pete Dunne of Raw, Carmelo Hayes of NXT, and AJ Styles of SmackDown go head to head, where whichever superstar is pinned, their brand's general manager will be fired. So big stakes in that one, as well as big stakes in the NXT Championship match, where it will be the champion Chad Gable versus Randy Orton, his mentor. Chad Gable's never beat Randy Orton, but can he finally do it on the grandest stage in the world and keep that NXT Championship in his grasp? Or the 14-time world champion Randy Orton win his first NXT title? As well, we have the Universal Championship on the line when the Universal Champion Thaddeus Bullard takes on Keith Lee. Thaddeus Bullard last year WrestleMania defeated The Undertaker as Intercontinental Champion, and now he enters as the Universal Champion, undefeated for well over 16 months at this point. Can Keith Lee finally beat him and win his first world title in the process? And then finally, of course, WrestleMania Night 1's main event as Shayna Baszler takes on the Women's Royal Rumble winner Ronda Rousey for that Women's Universal Championship. Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey, former 4 horsewomen of MMA sisters, but now going head to head on the grandest stage with the grandest prize of them all up for grabs. And that somehow isn't even the full card, because there's an entire another night of action to look forward to. WrestleMania Night 2. We have the Women's WrestleMania Battle Royale as well. We will have Liv Morgan versus Ruby Riott. Ruby Riott turning on Liv Morgan and taking her out, and Liv Morgan will be looking for her revenge on the grandest stage of them all, when the former tag team partners and best friends go head to head. We have the historic New Day triple threat match. Finally, Xavier Woods versus Big E versus Kofi Kingston with that United States Championship up for grabs. Which member of the group formerly known as the New Day will come out on top and prove to be the superior superstar and exit as the United States Champion? We have that massive Monsters Ball Fatal 4-Way match. The first Monsters Ball match in the history of WWE. Damian Priest versus the Demon Finn Balor versus the Fiend Bray Wyatt versus Karrion Kross in a Fatal 4-Way match. On night 1, we will see all 4 men locked into their individual dark rooms. No food, no water, no sunlight before they're released for their match on night 2. But which of these vicious dark superstars is getting their WrestleMania moment? We have the, as announced earlier, SmackDown Tag Team title match between the Usos taking on the team of Bronson Reed and Samoa Joe. Bronson Reed and Samoa Joe a few months ago were feuding, but now have united to take on their joint threat and their common enemy in the Usos of the Bloodline. Will the Usos keep their gold, or can Reed and Joe do it and win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships? The NXT North American titles on the line as Isaiah Swerve Scott looks to retain his title against Velveteen Dream. Velveteen Dream says he brought Scott into this level to win the North American title, and now he's taking it back, and Scott says he's getting his WrestleMania moment. Which man will be proved correct, though, at WrestleMania? We have Anthony Ogogo versus Logan Paul in a boxing rules match. The winner will be by knockout or judges' decision. Will the Olympic medalist Anthony Ogogo come out on top, or will it be the internet sensation Logan Paul who gets the bragging rights? We have the Raw Tag Team Championships on the line as the Celtic Warriors, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, look to continue their reign of domination against the team of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn looking to finally win a tag titles. The best friends have never done it before, but can they do it on the grandest stage in them all? We have the NXT Women's title up for grabs as Raquel Gonzalez defends her gold against Dakota Kai, the former best friends and partners, but Gonzalez turning on Dakota Kai at SummerSlam. Dakota Kai returning at the start of March on this road to WrestleMania, and now getting her shot on the grandest stage, WrestleMania 38 against Gonzalez. Can Dakota Kai finally win the NXT Women's Championship and get revenge against Raquel Gonzalez in the process? We will have to wait and see. We have John Cena versus LA Knight, the battle of two massive personalities on the grandest stage. And more, will LA Knight get a massive WrestleMania moment and cement his spot as a superstar to look out for by defeating the 16-time world champ? Or will John Cena do what John Cena does best and win at WrestleMania? We have the Women's World Championship on the line when Sasha Banks defends her gold against Io Shirai, two of the best wrestlers on the planet, finally colliding. Last year at WrestleMania 37, Sasha Banks and Io Shirai were on opposite sides of the ring in a tag team match, Banks and Bayley versus Shirai and Sane, and Shirai and Sane came out on top then. But can Shirai do it on her own against Sasha Banks? Or will the Blueprint, the Best and the Boss stay also the Women's World Champion? We have the massive rematch officially confirmed earlier tonight, Roman Reigns versus The Rock, where the loser will have to acknowledge the other, who will be officially and finally declared the true tribal chief of the family. We will see at WrestleMania. And finally, the main event of WrestleMania Night 2, Adam Cole defending his WWE World Heavyweight Championship against the Men's Royal Rumble winner, Kyle O'Reilly. The former and Undisputed Era brothers colliding here after O'Reilly shockingly challenged Adam Cole for that WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Can Kyle O'Reilly prove that he's got what it takes to go toe-to-toe with Adam Cole and be the world champ? Or will Adam Cole prove that he is WWE Champion for a reason and that he is better than Kyle O'Reilly? We will have to wait and see. Two stacked nights of action to look forward to. I have been talking long enough. I feel like me just saying the match card was probably almost as long as one of these parts of this video. It's such a stacked night of action. I really hope you're looking forward to it. If you are and you've enjoyed this episode, then please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel to see when that official match card video, which will be a much shortened version of what I've just said, and the special preview video are up before WrestleMania 38 Night 1 and Night 2 next weekend are also posted. But that is all for now, and as always, I really do want to say, because approaching WrestleMania 38, my first video was WrestleMania 37, so getting to WrestleMania 38, I really do want to say thank you for watching, and thank you for all the support along the way. It has been so appreciated, and so I do want to say thank you.